Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching TokYo-Yo Reviews and my name is T. So I even wore a black shirt. There you go. So I'm actually paying attention to string color now. And also thanks a lot to Zipline Strings. Recently my new string, Bushido Baby, was launched. And it sold out very, very quickly, so thanks everybody. It just makes me so happy that people are interested in trying it out. As far as I'm concerned, it's one of the best playing strings I've ever played. I think everything that Jeremy Park at Zipline puts out is awesome, but personally, for my money, Bushido Baby is the best that I've played with so far. And I totally mean that honestly. It's perfect for me. So today we're going to be talking about the first of this company that I've ever tried, and that is going to be the Yoyofficer Yacare. Is this just another yo-yo going for that gimmicky finger spin nonsense, or is this one officer that needs to get a promotion? Okay, so let's take a look at the Yoyofficer Yacare. First of all, is it Yoyofficer or Yoyofficer? Because it's spelled Yoyofficer. The shape here is a very nice, I'd call it a rather extreme H shape. In the cup you have a very nice and extremely functional finger spin catch zone here. The rest of the cup is very open. You have some quite small rounded cuts, but everything looks quite nice. This may look like space for a thumb grind lip, but you're not going to get many of thumb grinds unless you throw it at an angle. The material is 6061. It does look glossy. I believe they call it a satiny finish. It's very, very nice to grind on. Very, very comfortable for grinds. The feel is actually quite comfortable. Even though it has this really wild shape, it's quite ergonomic. These rims here do look a bit sharp, but they are rounded off. And the rest of it just feels extremely comfortable. It's a very nice yo-yo to hold. Personally, I think the look is super slick. I really like this fade here, this red and silver. And you'll notice that the fade is very, very nicely halved here. So it does produce kind of a pink when it's spinning. I saw someone in some place calling it the Ultraman fade, and so I've been calling it forever too. Plus, doesn't hurt that it matches perfectly with my Zipline Strings Bushido Baby. Oh yeah. I actually tried this yo-yo at Rewind in person, and I wasn't really a huge fan of it at that time. It felt a bit heavy to me, it felt a bit cumbersome, like it really wasn't moving the way I wanted it to. Overall, I didn't have a great impression of it. But over time, I saw a lot of really good opinions on the Yacare. A lot of people were talking really positively about it, so I decided to give it another chance. Plus, it didn't hurt that they had this Ultraman fade that looked really nice, so I decided to pick it up for myself. And I have to say, my opinion was really changed on it. We'll get into playability a little bit later. Yoyofficer puts out a lot of very interesting throws for very, very cheap prices. And this is one of their most straightforward attempts to get into the fingerspin game. And I think it does a very good job of that. And as for the name, Yacare. Is it Yacare, Yacare, Yacare? It just struck me. I don't actually know what Yacare means. Hold on, I'm gonna check this out. Hold on a second. Alright, let's take a look here. So, Yacare, I think that's how you spell it. Okay, wait, hold on a second. What? What? Really? Oh. Oh. Are you serious? Are there any good... Oh, no. Oh, see, that's quite cute. Oh, that's lovely. Oh my god. Wasn't expecting that. As for playability, this thing feels really solid. It feels really well put together. It's a really good all-rounder. It feels like it can do just about anything. I mentioned before that when I first threw it, it felt a little cumbersome. I'm not sure why I thought that, because now it does feel quite light. but it does feel deliberate. You feel like once it gets moving, you need to kind of commit to it. And if you want to make any quick changes in plane or quick changes in momentum, you're going to have to kind of be ready for it. It does all your string tricks, everything very nicely. The gap is wide enough so you can get your slacks and whips in there, no problem. The grinds in this thing are exceptional. I think part of that is due to the shape. This thing is very ergonomic and it fits your grinds just perfectly. You can see right here, my finger's just cradled in there perfectly. But it doesn't feel like you're making too much contact with the yo-yo, which can sometimes be a problem with yo-yos that grind really well, or yo-yos that are designed to grind, is that sometimes your finger can make too much contact with the yo-yo and it can slow down. This just feels like it grinds forever. And it also just fits your finger just perfectly. It's really, really fun to grind with. The finger spins we gotta talk about as well on this thing are awesome. Once it goes in here, even if you land on the outside, your finger is eventually gonna be guided in there. It's a fairly deep little dimple in here, and then you have a tiny little dimple in the very middle. It kind of has that thing that people mention when you talk about the Skyva, where anywhere you land it, it's gonna orbit around, but eventually it's gonna find its way there and it's gonna lock in. And it does feel very nice once you hit it. There's no wobble, there's no instability there. It's a very, very, very smooth spinning finger spin yo-yo. And I think a problem can be sometimes with some finger spin yo-yos, or yo-yos that are designed to facilitate finger spins, sometimes that design can kind of take away from the rest of the yo-yo, but this thing still feels perfectly playable, even though it has that kind of thing going for it. It's a very, very nice all-rounder, despite the fact that it also finger spins very, very capably. All around, I really enjoy playing the Yacare. It's a very satisfying everyday carry just because it does most everything well and it looks nice to boot. Let's get into the pros and cons of the Yoyofficer Yacare. As I mentioned, very solid, very satisfying feel in the hand. It does feel quite ergonomic. It does play very comfortably. Great playability. It does just about everything well, and it plays on the string and spins for a very long time. It's quite stable, no problems there. It does finger spins extremely well. It does grinds very, very well too. Beautiful colors, especially I actually wrote the script for this review before the new colors came out. I liked the original colors. There's a couple fades and a couple splashes. But the new colors look very nice. There's kind of this like green, pink, purple, clear acid wash that looks extremely nice. So if you're interested, you might want to check those out. And a great price. This thing came in around just about $40 USD for me. So, sorry, there's a huge bug over here. The price is absolutely a knockout for what it can do. And let's get into the cons. So as I mentioned before, when I first played it, it did feel a little heavy. Now I wouldn't say that so much, but it does feel like it's deliberate. It does feel like you need to push it a little bit to get it to move sometimes. It could be because I'm used to playing yo-yos a little bit on the lighter side these days. I've been playing, like I mentioned, the Benchmark H pretty light. I've been playing smaller yo-yos like the Veritas Pro. So it could just feel like it's a little bit more deliberate. So if that's something you're into, then you're gonna like this. You're gonna notice in the cup here, there's a little bit of red kind of bleeding into the silver area. If that's something that really bugs you, then this will probably bother you a bit, but I don't really mind it. In fact, I think it looks kind of cool. And even if there are any little ano flaws, they don't really bother me because this thing is so cheap that it doesn't really matter to me that much. I think some other companies like One Drop or G Squared, you know, might mark it down, but those are also companies that sell at a lot higher of a premium price. I feel like for the budget metal area, little ano flaws don't bother me at all. And our last section of this little review, who's the Yacare for? So I feel like the Yacare is for somebody like me who wants to get into Yoyofficer and doesn't really know where to start. Everybody talks about the Kilter series, which is like a series of very hard V-shapes. There's also the Urban and the Vector, which I believe are a little bit more rounded. But this one just seems to be a really good entry point because it does just about everything. So if you're looking for a Yoyofficer, if you're looking for a great everyday carry that's not too expensive, something that looks really nice, something that finger spins and grinds really well and just plays overall really nice and stable, then I think the Yoyofficer Yacare would be really good for you. Thanks for the likes, the comments, and the subscriptions. Starting to rain, I gotta wrap this up. I really appreciate everybody watching. Sorry it's been a little bit weird with the vacation time over in Japan, so I haven't really been able to update a lot. I've been out of town, so thanks so much for being patient. And yeah, remember to check me out on Instagram, TokYo-Yo videos, if you want to ask questions of the guests coming up on TokYo-Yo Talk, or if you just want to see what I'm up to on the daily basis. And yeah, guys, thanks a lot for watching today. Take care, have a nice day, and sayonara.